I like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This movie's called Out of My League. Came out last year. It's about an hour and a half long. It's an Italian romantic comedy. Spoiler alert, let's just get it. So we start off with this girl named Martha. She dreams about having a perfect wedding when she was little. Thinking about getting married to Zac Efron and shit. Now she's older, got herself an apartment. She lives with her two best friends. This guy named Jay, he loves dealing with fashion. There's an older version of Jay. And this chick named Frederica. Now Martha always thought she was ugly. If we know we could look at her clearly see she's not. But she's got worse problems than that. Apparently she's got some sickness called muco. I can't pronounce the full name of it. Basically she can't be around moist areas or sniffing any type of dust. Because the mucus will crowd around her lungs and she could possibly die. So she needs to keep this machine for air anytime she starts coughing. Then we found out her parents died when she was 3. They was in a car crash. So her friends take her to the doctor to get checkups and they're always with her together regardless. He's a happy doctor. He tried to make her reassured that everything's going to be okay, but obviously he's lying. And she knows that too, but she just doesn't want her friends to worry about her. She's always in good spirits. So her part-time job, she works at this supermarket called Coop. Yeah. And her job is to sit in this booth and announce things that are going on sale. But she does it in a sensual, sexual way. And she's a radio host giving late-night sex advice. And the people shopping get enamored with it. But I'm just thinking to myself one thing. Don't kids come to the fucking grocery store too? Well, apparently not this one. Apparently her voice is so good she gets letters from secret admirers that she just hangs up on her hall of shame.
Ooh, I want to tap those broccoli stems, baby. Give me a shot of that strawberry kiwi.
Oh, y'all think I'm just fucking around? No, listen, yo.
Organic, locally sourced green olives are 30% off. Hurry. The offer ends tonight.
Just random as shit. Later on, she goes on the internet looking for Tinder dates. And she's just like doing it from the comfort of her own home for the friends are gonna get her out. Like, man, fuck that shit. You going out tonight. So they get her out to the club. She sees this guy by the name of Arturo and she's head over heels over this guy. But she's too scared to really make a move. So instead, she decides to stalk him and learn everything about him. When she finds out this information, she goes in the other room and finds her friends in there giving the business. So apparently, Jay is supposed to be gay and Frederica's supposed to be a lesbian. So you can see it was a surprise to Martha when you seen both of them smashing. So their excuse is because they want to have a baby. They want to do it the legit way. And Martha just says, why don't you just use a turkey baster? Later on, she gets Jay to go to this country club. Why? Because she knows Artelo's going to be there. They basically try to follow him in, but it's supposed to be for members only. So she tells her this heartfelt speech about mucodosis and how her lungs could fill up with mucus and die. And she wants to get or cross off her things to do list. She's all sympathetic and everything. And the lady abides by it and gives her a tour. Well, technically, it's not like she lied to her. So then they get the tour of all these relics. But obviously, her sights are set on Arturo, who's just doing his rowing and canoeing exercises. Then she goes into the locker room, goes through his information, sniffs and steals one of his towels. Later on, spies on him while he's eating. Then when he leaves, takes some of his silverware and his napkin. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, nigga, are you spying on him or are you investigating a crime, nigga? So Jay's actually thinking about this turkey baster thing, but I think he kind of has second thoughts. But Frederica's with it. She's like, fuck it, let's do it. Then later on, they get Martha out to get some exercise and she can't keep up. They're like, look, we gotta get your lung capacity up so you can be able to live longer. Then she starts talking about Artelo and she can't figure nothing out about him or whatever like that. She's basically talking shit and didn't realize he was right behind her. Like, oh shit. She's like, yeah, I caught on to you. Like, I know what you've been doing. So she's like, what do you want? And she ends up getting a date with him, like one date. So she's so giddy, he goes to work and she don't know what to do with herself. Then she starts reading the cue cards wrong on the discounts. She was telling people salmon was 40 cents instead of 40% off. Yeah, she don't know what to do with herself right now. Later on, she realized she ain't got nothing to wear for this date. Personally, I think this outfit she had on and this one were the best outfits. But instead, she picked this. So, alright. She meets Artelo's mom and she's basically speechless. Then they have their date, which she didn't know was going to be actually a family dinner. She said, you didn't specify what kind of dinner. She meets the family. Then she meets Beatrice playing the piano. Not sure exactly who she is to the family. Then at the dinner table, they explain how they met. He comes up with kind of a random story just to appease his family. But she's like, fuck that, I'm telling the truth about this shit. She tells him about how she stalked her son. Literally everything from top to bottom. She didn't leave not one thing out. He tried to apologize, but she was kind of pissed off at him. Basically figuring that they come from two different worlds. While they still contemplating on the turkey baster, Martha comes home and she's just sad about the circumstances. She wakes up the next day, gets on her machine, all melancholy as she goes to work. Then she gets some notes under the door from Artelo, who was actually behind the door when she opened it up. So now he's the one chasing after her. She's like, a real date this time, just me and you. And then they have a real date. While they're in the car, his friend calls him on the phone. He's talking about, hey, you going to a little charity dinner? She's like, really? Charity? She's like, don't worry about my friend. He's a fucking idiot. Word, that's how we gonna play that? Anyway, they get to dinner. They ask each other 5 questions, playing a game. And these questions are basically, you know, they're just trying to find out about each other, you know what I'm saying, ins and outs. Clearly, she already knows a lot about him because she was stalking him. Then she's like, enough of this expensive shit. I want a bologna sandwich, honestly. So she goes to her job as security guard's there, and she got perks. She gets on the mic and starts talking sexy to her man. Has him running around getting certain food out of certain aisles. Just having the time of her life with him. Then they get to their date again. They start asking questions again. Now the thing is, she hasn't told him about her sickness. And he says he's never said he loves you to any other girl ever in his life. You know, just make a casual convo. Their date went well. Apparently more than well. She got the kissing. She's like, fuck that. You coming upstairs? They get to the room. They get straight to it. And you know what time it is. He ends up giving her the business. And he pretty much stayed over the whole night. And of course, they got to get to work in the morning. Friends like, damn, all right, get it, Martha. She ain't feeling like an ugly duckling no more. She feeling pretty? Then he gets all this bullshit grief from his parents. Apparently, he's never brought a girl back to the house before. Then she texts him like, you trying to go out tonight? They end up going to karaoke, but he's like, man, I can't sing. Only thing I can do is sing in the shower. So she's got to go to a spot. She says she'll be right back. She's got to take her medicine. Then she turns around like, what the fuck? Then she sees a man on stage singing. This nigga think he Frank Sinatra all of a sudden. And that's all she wanted. Then they spend time together in the park and she starts coughing heavy and he's starting to worry about this cough. But the thing is, she still hasn't told him about her situation. So we find out when she goes to the doctor, she gets checked up again. They tell her specifically not to go near any damp places. It could cause dust to kick up, she could start choking, and you know the process. Then afterwards, Martella takes her on a date, takes her to the Royal Palace with waterfalls shooting up. She's like, oh my god, I wish you could have made it purple. And then he presses a button and turns it purple, you know, fuchsia. Then afterward, he puts a blindfold on her. Starting over my words, this shit is ridiculous. He's gonna take on a boat ride, but there's only one problem with that, as he gives her a coat because she's cold. And he tells any girl for the first time that he loves her. But right at that moment, she started coughing something terrible. Then she dives through the water to get back on land. She tells him to get her bag. While he's doing that, she dips off. Basically, he don't know how to feel or what the fuck's going on. This shit ends up getting to the hospital, her friends are there for her. The doctor tells her everything's fine, but once they leave, she's like, yo, tell me the real deal about the situation. He's like, look, Martha, I ain't gonna BS you. Bottom line is, your situation got way worse. You're gonna need a lung transplant by the right donor that they don't have just yet. And he tells her the real. He's like, frankly, you might not have that long to go. She's just glad that the doctor told her the truth. And this is the first time in the movie that she just breaks down and starts crying. Meanwhile, Otello's been looking for her all over the place forever. And it's been about, what, 5 weeks at this point? Now, my thing is, since him and his people's got money and power like that, couldn't he just go through, like, every different registry to try to find this girl? Kind of confused on that one. But then again, he didn't know she was sick, so I guess he didn't think to check any hospitals. I don't know. But then that time she's eating hospital food, he had to go back to doing some of his activities. 5.5 weeks go by, she's finally getting home, and she'd have missed like 100 calls from Martello. And since he couldn't find her, he waited at her house for her. And he doesn't understand what's going on. She wants to act like she doesn't love him. She tells him he still lives with his parents and all this other stuff. Basically coming up with a bunch of bullshit because she doesn't want him to have the burden of taking care of her because she's sick. And that's why she's not telling him what's really going on. So after they break up, he's all sad and lonely in the club. Beatrice comes over to him, tries to make him feel better and shit. But when she tries to get him to do, he ain't with it. And leaves her sitting there looking sad. Shoulda came my way. Anyway, he has to talk with his mom. Then she's like, I got you to the highest schools, get you on rowing boats and doing all this other stuff, and he don't want to do none of that shit. Then she keeps it real with him and tells her a situation about when she got married to her significant other. And her father was not approving. She said, fuck that shit, I'm gonna get him regardless. She said the only reason they even had money is because her husband's father passed away. They collected on the will. The point of the story is, if you want to tell her, go find out, tell her how much you love her, and go get her. So she's got another visit with the doctors. But it turns out Beatrice is there with her dad. And we found out Beatrice's dad and Martha's doctor both are in the same hospital, or work there anyway. So she catches up with her and gets a one-on-one with her. Beatrice knows Martha's situation, and she's like, dude, you gotta tell Otello. He definitely loves you. He doesn't have love for me whatsoever. So Martha finds out Beatrice and Otello never did anything. In fact, he's been waiting on her the entire time. So Beatrice cuts her losses. She's a respectable side chick. So he's having second thoughts about the turkey baster thing and the baby. Now the real reason at the beginning they was going to do it was because they had a feeling Martha was going to die soon and they still wanted a baby. So she could at least be there to see one. But now they're really starting to think they want to make a relationship work between each other. Because they can't deny the fact they're really feeling each other. Meanwhile, Martha goes back to the clubhouse to the locker room, finds Otello in the shower. She starts putting notes down there like, sorry, please forgive me. And he's just been waiting on her the entire time. So she finally tells him about her sickness and they go get through it together. Next day she gets to ring at the doorbell. And Otello tells her the news that it's possible they can find a cure for her ailment. Basically with all the studies and everything that's going on, there's a good 19% chance that she'll be able to survive it. After finding out all this news, there's always something that she wanted to do. So she plans to have a real wedding. It makes her dream come true. Otello kisses his bride and that's how it goes down. That's all fine and dandy, but my question is, when will they get the surgery done? How long will she be able to live after that? What happened after they got married? Out of My League on Netflix. Check it out. Like, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. Look, these, y'all, easy, best stars. Big, you got this slogan.